Ever wake up one day and realize your life's about to become a headline? Yeah, that happened to me. Except the headline wasn't "Rancher wins mega millions" or even "Texas man survives rattlesnake rodeo." No, my headline was more like "Man falsely accused by HOA starts wildfire war over dirt and drones." If you think that sounds made up, pull up a chair, because you're about to hear how peace, property lines, and petty power plays can make even the calmest guy go full John Wayne, with a little bit of YouTube thrown in for good measure. Now, I used to believe peace was the most valuable thing a man could own. If that's true, I was practically a billionaire, at least. I was until Cypress Trail's community rolled into my life like a marching band on a funeral day. I'd been living out on this 320-acre spread just outside Boerne, Texas, minding my own business, doing what I do best, raising rare Texas longhorns, fiddling with high-tech ranch gear, and keeping a fence line that could pass for the U.S. border wall. You know what I mean? I left a 20-year gig tracking white-collar criminals. Yeah, guys who stole millions with a smile and a fountain pen, because I wanted cattle and quiet. So when folks started talking about their elite residential living and historic trails right next to my southern boundary, I figured, sure, let the city folks chase their dreams, as long as they stay on their side of the fence. Well, dreams have a way of leaking, don't they? The first time I heard about their so-called heritage pedestrian trail, I nearly spit my coffee out. That patch of land hadn't seen a walker since my granddad locked it up in '82. Heck, the no trespassing signs were so old, they'd rusted into the dirt and become part of the scenery. A week later, one of my hands brings me a shiny HOA newsletter. Yeah, like a ransom note with better fonts. On the back, my land, big as day, with a big green section labeled Community Walking Access. According to them, my pasture was now a public park. You ever choke on your own coffee so hard you see stars? That was me. I figured it was a design error. I mean, who just prints someone else's property in green and calls it a park? I tried to let it slide. People make mistakes. But then came Tuesday morning. The sun's just dragging itself out of bed, and I'm out on my ATV, checking on a limping yearling. I've got my drone in the air, doing its thing, when out of nowhere, two sheriff's cruisers roll up, lights off, but dust everywhere. Like they were chasing a bank robber. They come up to my internal gate, not the main one. Both step out, hands resting on their holsters, all business. Sir, hands where I can see them. I'm holding a drone remote, blinking at these guys. Name's Trey Randall. This is my land. Something wrong? Got a call from Cypress Trails, the older one says, about an armed man threatening joggers near the trailhead. Now, if you've ever had your blood go from coffee warm to ice cold in half a second, you know what I felt right then. Trailhead? What trailhead? I point out my concealed carry, perfectly legal. I show them my ID, then, because I'm a special kind of stubborn, offer my property deed, GPS overlays, drone footage, even my granddad's 1874 land grant. I ask if they want the drone to land and show live coordinates. They pause, exchange a look, then check my documents against the county map. The younger one, Deputy Owens, whistles. Sir, your land matches our registry to the inch. Want to see the concrete post? I ask, and lead them right to it. We walk that fence, drone buzzing overhead, like it's a damn courtroom on the prairie. After a while, the deputies actually relax. The older guy, Granger, shakes his head. Somebody really screwed up. I give him a wry smile. Wouldn't be the first time a suburb tried to manifest destiny their way into free pasture. Sorry for the scare, Granger says. We'll mark this as a false report, and I'll have a word with their HOA rep. You mean Karen? I ask. He raises an eyebrow. I grin. Every HOA's got a Karen. The deputies leave, maybe a little wiser. My yearling's still limping, but she'll be fine. I scratch her behind the ear, mutter, coyotes in yoga pants. That's what we're dealing with now. 2 days. That's all the quiet I got before round 2. This time, the cruisers roll up while I'm working on an auto gate. Granger doesn't even get out, just leans on his door. Guess who he calls? Another complaint. Anonymous, of course, says you're building a barrier on HOA land, threatening residents, cussing at kids. I don't even blink. Let me guess, the barrier is this fence post, right where we walked 2 days ago? Owens checks the post. Yep, still blinking. Still right here. Then I hear high heels. I turn, And there she is, Karen Courtney herself. Platinum blonde, sunglasses so big they could start an eclipse, striding up like she owns the place. "I need you to cease and desist," she says, aiming a perfectly manicured nail at my gate. "That fence violates our community's visual ordinance and blocks public green space." "Lady, this isn't your green space," I say. "This is my grazing land, and my cows are not particularly community-minded." She huffs. "My residents have walked this trail for years." "6 months ago, your place was a pile of dirt," I shoot back. "That's hearsay." Owens laughs. "Ma'am, that's not how hearsay works." She turns to the deputies, honey dripping her voice, spinning some nonsense about being verbally accosted and me flashing a weapon. Granger's having none of it. "Ma'am, we've been here the whole time." She hesitates, so I offer, "Want to see my drone footage?" Suddenly, Karen looks pale. I pull up the feed. There she is, walking onto my land, calling 911 under my "no trespassing" sign, saying he's waving something. Probably a gun. He's aggressive. You can even hear the drone mic pick it up. Owens is already scribbling. "False 911 call is a criminal offense, ma'am." Granger adds, "We'll need you for questioning." She snaps, "I'm the HOA president." "And I'm the landowner," I say. "You don't get to redraw property lines just because you have PowerPoint." Right then, it clicks for me. This isn't a mistake. It's a con job. Karen's running a play I've seen before. Say the lie enough, get people to believe the map's already changed. Then make the paperwork match the fantasy. I'd seen Ponzi guys do it. Now it's coming from a woman with a Facebook group and a dream. That night, I put the footage online. HOA claims my ranch is public land. Watch what really happened. Drone video, GPS overlays, everything. Overnight, it's viral. 12,000 views by breakfast, 38,000 by dinner, over 100,000 by the weekend. Comments pour in. Folks all over who've met their own HOA monster. But Karen isn't done. Next week, a certified letter shows up. No return address, just that faint whiff of fresh toner and desperation. Inside, a formal complaint to the county, complete with a redrawn map. My fence, my land, erased and replaced with a community access trail, est. 1971-inch. Even a tiny bench drawn in, for God's sake. Part of me laughs. Part of me wants to throw the thing in the fire. Instead, I take a folder of my family's land documents and head straight to the county records office. The clerk, Georgia, has seen it all. When she hears Karen's claim, public trail since 1971, she flips through an old logbook and finds an entry. Trail decommissioned, 1982. Easement relinquished in exchange for fencing and maintenance. That'd be my granddad, I tell her. She nods. Then I don't know what those HOA folks think they're doing. I know. When you can't take land by law, you try to fake the law. I leave with certified copies, original plat maps, and a stack of signatures. That night, I post a second video. HOA caught falsifying county maps. Drone footage, Georgia reading the 1982 record, side-by-side map comparison. By midnight, it's on Reddit's front page, picked up by a Texas land rights group. I get emails from ranchers, surveyors, even an ex-HOA board member. People who've fought their own versions of Karen. Now, the HOA kicks into high gear. Community alerts get dropped at every doorstep in Cypress Trails. I get forwarded a scan, says I'm an aggressive tenant unlawfully occupying disputed land, and that residents should avoid hostile livestock and armed individuals. Tenant. I've been called a lot of things, but never that. They're not just lying, they're trying to erase me. Then it gets worse. My best beef distributor calls. "Trey, we have to pause orders. Board's nervous about the legal mess." No arguments, just a cold. "Thanks for your years of business." I look out at my herd. They have no idea there's a war on. But I do. See, Karen's not coming over the fence. She's trying to rot it out from under me, starve the business, smear my name, push until I fold. But if there's one thing I learned tracking financial crooks, every scam leaves a paper trail. If you can't stop the lie, you strangle it with the truth. So I file a formal response with the county. Land grant, easement termination, witness affidavits, video links. I even request an investigation into possible fraud by the HOA. This isn't a neighborly spat anymore. It's war. You ever see 3 grown men, all HOA volunteers, try to stage a fake harassment video on your property? Because I did. One Thursday night, motion alerts ping my phone. Gate 3, the old service access, triggered. Drones pick up 3 guys with flashlights, phones, and a reflective vest with the HOA logo ironed on crooked. I flip on the floodlights, crank the audio, and listen. Go, start the recording. Say it louder. Look scared. Pretend you saw him with a gun. I lock down the gates, arm the cameras, and call the sheriff. Yeah, it's Randall. You'll want to see this. By the time deputies Owens and Granger roll up, the 3 stooges look like raccoons caught in a trash can. They try to bluff. We're documenting public land use, but their IDs look like Chuck E. Cheese cards. I play back the drone audio, them rehearsing the scene. Granger's face goes flat. You're all under arrest for trespass, conspiracy to falsify evidence, and if you called this in, false reporting. They protest. Granger just says, that's the only smart thing you've done tonight. I cut a video. HOA tries to fake harassment. Thumbnail is the guy mouthing, say it louder. 500,000 views by morning. Even get a call from a retired FBI profiler, wants to use my case in a lecture on groupthink. Turns out one guy was an insurance adjuster, one was a wannabe realtor, and the vest wearer? HOA Community Engagement Officer. A title Karen made up, badge printed on her office HP. After that, Karen goes quiet. Not silent, just dangerous. Now I've got leverage. Time to counterpunch. I call my attorney, Colin, an old oilfield litigator who owes me a favor. I show him the evidence. False 911s, forged maps, financial interference, stage provocation. He just whistles. You've got a landmine. We file a $2.7 million suit. Trespass, defamation, business interference, fraud. All of it. Name Karen and her little circus directly. I go public. Launch Know You Boundary. Org. Post every document, map, and court filing. Add a bold form. Had an HOA land dispute? Send your story. Within 48 hours, I get 200. Elderly veterans, mailbox martyrs, folks fined for planting the wrong rose bush. I curate the best and make a series, Boundary Breaches. It blows up. One woman in California gets cited for a sunlight symmetry fence rule. 3 million views in a week. But Karen's not done. She issues a public statement, says I'm destabilizing a peaceful community for personal gain. I respond the only way I know how. Footage, timelines, police reports, statements from the deputies themselves. Local news picks it up. Ma, my Longhorn, becomes a minor celebrity, photobombing every shot. Then Karen slips up. During an HOA meeting, caught on a hot mic, she says, maybe we offer to buy the whole pasture, make it part of the walking loop. So, I do what any stubborn Texan would. I list a tiny parcel, right along the contested fence, Lot 7A. With conditions, no structures, must allow livestock, no vehicles except tractors, must spread feed for rotational grazing. The HOA wins the auction, celebrates online, only to discover they've bought a patch of dirt they can't use and now have to maintain by law. Petty? Maybe. But so is staging a fake crime on my ranch. Court day comes. Karen's strutting in like she's on Broadway. I'm in jeans and boots. Our case file's thicker than a phone book. We submit 300 pages of records, drone video, maps, GPS, affidavits. Colin even reads the livestock-only covenant for Lot 7A out loud. The courtroom actually snorts with laughter. Then come the emails. Karen telling her crew, make the paperwork foggy, lean on county contacts. Public perception is winnable if we make him look unstable. The judge just stares. Is that your signature, Miss Courtortney? She has no answer. Granger and Owens take the stand, confirm I was never hostile, and describe Karen's false reports and the fake badges. The HOA attorney tries to claim we're both victims of narrative manipulation. Colin just holds up a screenshot, my website with 2 million hits and legal blogs citing our case. This isn't a narrative, Your Honor. This is documentation. The judge sets closing arguments. That night, I sit on my porch, no big show, just me and Ma. We didn't ask for this fight, I say, but we sure as hell finished it with the truth. 300,000 people watch by dawn. Verdict day? The courtroom's packed, reporters, documentary crew, folks from 3 counties. Judge Morales reads it out. In favor of the plaintiff. My attorney stays cool, but I grin like a fool. HOA fined. Karen referred for criminal prosecution, falsifying documents, conspiracy, the whole 9 yards. And get this, during discovery, a county official named Doyle, who altered maps for Karen in exchange for a fake board seat, gets arrested, too. One of Karen's own turned state's witness, handing over recordings. Say your dog walked there every Sunday. Make it emotional. We need history. The prosecution's got not just a case, but a script. Within a month, the HOA collapses. The subdivision loses its restrictions. Homeowners are finally free of her iron grip. My land is reaffirmed, private, sovereign, historic. I put up a new sign, private ranch, HOA free zone. Trespassers will be live-streamed. Law schools license the case. One video, Karen getting caught mid-lie, gets featured in legal ethics seminars. I didn't want revenge, but I sure got precedent. And you know the most satisfying part? Seeing Karen escorted out of court in handcuffs, stumbling in her designer heels, while the bailiff reads her charges for the cameras. That sound, handcuffs snapping shut, it's almost music. The land healed faster than the people. The herd calmed down, neighbors started waving again. Folks who once avoided me now shake my hand. An old Vietnam vet at the hardware store said, "You made them eat dirt, son." For all of us. He didn't need to say more. I knew. So, I kept no boundary. We're going. Volunteers, surveyors, even a training course. Fence law. What your HOA doesn't want you to know. 10,000 downloads in 3 months. Testified in Austin. Helped pass a new Property Line Integrity Act. Real change. Born from a mess nobody wanted. Cypress Trails. Still there, just quieter. Karen? Probation. Banned from any board position. Doing mandatory service stamping zoning certificates. Poetic, if you ask me. Sometimes people ask if I'd ever move, or if I'd do it all again. I just point at the sign by the main gate, carved by hand. Welcome to Randall Acres, where the boundary holds. So, let me throw this out to you. Where do you draw your line? When does standing your ground become the only choice? Is it about dirt, or is it about dignity? Let me know what you think down below. If you've ever fought for what's right, or got run over by folks who thought they could rewrite the rules, share your story. I read every one. And if you're ever in a fight like this, remember, documentation beats drama every time.